Family Search continues to add new information on a regular basis, but there is a lot of information that can be found in other resources. There are other resources like Ancestry.com, MyHeritage, etc. Many of these are paid sites with some free information. There are other free resources online. This video will give you examples of things that you might find in paid and free online sources. Okay, I was looking for birth records in different states, and so I was just doing a Google search, and I came up with Arizona Department of Health Services, and they have Arizona Genealogical Record Search. So I just want to show you how this works. I'm going to type in Aldous and say I am not a robot and search. And that has this little spinner telling you it's working on it. And it will come up with a few names here. Okay, we have George, Gladys, and James. And we have these PDFs. So let's click on this PDF here. It gives his date of death. Okay, this is George Aldous. He died in Phoenix, Maricopa. And his wife is Gertrude Aldous. And it gives his date of birth. So I am going to take that information. I'm going to go over here to Family Search. Let me get this birth date, 16th of January 1886. Let's do a let's do find. We're going to type in George Aldous, 4th of January, well, let's just put in 1886. I think that was the date. Let me pull it up again. There it is, 1886, and his wife was Gertrude. Let me move that off to here so I can still see it and I have to pull it up. Okay, let's do a search. Does it tell us where? Birth. Does not say the location. It does give us his parents, I think, yes. Oh, it says his birthplace was England. So I can put that in. Okay. Oh, that's his father. So we don't know if he was born in England. His father is George also in England, and Hetty Russell, and she was born in Virginia. So since she was born in Virginia and the father is England, I'm assuming they married here in the United States. That could be wrong. Maybe he was, but very likely that they were, and so he was probably born in the United States. So let's click find and see if we can find him. Okay, here's so born in England, but John and Henry. Charles, look, here we have a George Kephart, born 1886 in Kansas, and his wife is Gertrude. No parents are listed. So let's go to this. It says George G. Let's see if what we have up here. Just George Aldous. But let's go here to this person. Okay, so I think this is probably him. He was born in Kansas. We have a 1900 census. Let's see, they were married in 1910. So let's look at that hint. And there's George and Harriet. Now let me pull this certificate back over here. Look, there's Father George and Hetty. Hetty is a nickname for Harriet. So I think this is correct. So let's go ahead and add this. Okay. And we'll go ahead and add George, and we have a birth date of October. Let's standardize that. born in England, and that matches what we have. So let's standardize that, England, United Kingdom, and we will create this person. And he immigrated in 1865. All right, and Hetty. Now, let me pull this back over. We see that Hetty, her last name was Russell, and she was born in Virginia. So let's change this to Russell and standardize that, and it matches Virginia, and so we will create her. And he is not married yet, but we get Ernest, a brother, from this record. So finding that death record in Arizona, this is what we now have. We now have George and a birth date for him because of the census. We have Harriet and a birth date for her because of the census, which matched the death certificate. We verified George's date. Let's see. Actually, if we look at the details here, he was born in January of 1886, which, when we look here, he was born in January of 1886. So that matches again. We can go in and put that in. So let's go back to George now that we have that attached. And let's change this. The date was the 16th of January. And we will standardize that. And the census told us that it was in Kansas. So we found that birth information from finding the death record. We were able to then find George in Family Search, and then we were able to add his birth date and the location and his parents. And so that is wonderful. Sometimes with these other resources, you can go to each of the states and see if they offer records online. And this one's wonderful because they actually give you a copy of the death certificate, which gave us the birth information. Okay, I want to show you this Missouri Digital Heritage website. In it we have death certificates. You have some that are predate 1910, and this is 1910 to 1970. I'm going to click on this one. And here it asks you to input a last name and a first name. I just have Watts in there, and I'm going to do a search for Watts. And we come down and we have this Agnes Patton Watts, and it gives her death date. And then you can click on View Image, and we have the death certificate. Now I'd like to show you what we can find on that death certificate. First we find her name, Agnes Patton Watts. Then we find her death date, the 23rd of February, 1956. And she was born on the 27th of May, 1904. Along with this, we find her husband, Charles A. Watts, her father, Jasper Bell, and her mother, Pinky Tramble. So Agnes's maiden name is Bell from her father, Jasper Bell. This is a great resource for birth information. All right, the last thing I want to show you is on Ancestry.com. It is a paid site, but a lot of wonderful information is found here. I just want to show you how to find a birth record, actually from a death certificate. So I'm going to do search, all collections. I'm sure there's other ways to find these collections, but this is how I get to this one. Pennsylvania. And you come down here to the vital records, birth, marriage, and death, and this very first one is death certificates. If I click on that, so I'm going to put in Kephart. That's one of my family names. That is from Pennsylvania. And you can put in more information if you know where they were born or the county that they died in or their parents. You can add that information. So I go searching, and here's a Virginia recap part. Let's look at this. It says she is a female. She's age 38. It gives her birth date and her birthplace. It gives her death date, Clearfield, and it tells that her father and mother. So if that was the person we were looking for, we can click over here, and then we can actually see the death certificate. Anyways, this is the last in my series of birth information, finding birth information. My next group of videos will be on marriage and how to find marriage records. Thanks for watching. Happy hunting!